Dave Portnoy, a man who's made most of his money off of exploiting gambling addicts, decided to give his political opinions. If you believe the same thing he is talking about here, you might want to reevaluate because it's going to take around 10 to 20 seconds to show you why these arguments are absolutely terrible. And if you're not getting paid to make bad arguments, don't make bad arguments. You just look silly.
All right. Every once in a while, I get so fed up with politics. I got to do a rant and just let steam off. I try not to, but I've hit the boiling point.
Also, it's super loser sounding to start off your rant by saying, I just got so mad about politics. I never talk about this, but I hit my boiling point. Bro, just talk about what you want to talk about.
And it's the gaslighting that the left is doing with Kamala Harris, making it sound like she's some great, groundbreaking candidate.
Kamala Harris, Kamala. You just sound dumb saying Kamala. You could just say Kamala. I really don't care. I don't get offended. I do get offended that you sound dumb.
She is the worst candidate to ever run for president ever. There's two people voting in this election. Either you're voting for Donald Trump, you like Donald Trump, or you hate Donald Trump and you're voting against him. But Kamala Harris, let's stop it. And what put this over the edge for me? Last week, I'm watching our campaign rally, and she's up there being like, we need to turn the page in America. It's time for a new way forward, and I'm your candidate for change, and they're hooting and hollering.
It's time to turn the page. It's time to turn the page. And America is ready for a new way forward.
And then I see her at a rally today, and it's the same message again. Time to turn the page. We need a new generation of leadership.
It is time to turn the page.
Yeah, politicians repeat things when they give a stump speech or a rally. Donald Trump has repeated the same thing at his past 50 rallies too. It's not that big of a own to say someone's repeating something if you're a politician. You're not going to make something new every single time you speak. None of them do that, Donald Trump included. But Kamala's policies versus Trump. I'm seeing signs about Donald Trump saying, oh, life was better under Trump, blah, blah, blah. Look, think about the great America we could have. Kamala Harris is actually talking about policies. $50,000 tax deduction for small businesses, expanding the child tax credit to $6,000, giving assistance to buying homes, expanding Medicare to provide at-home care, and that also helps people who are not on Medicare. So people who need to take care of their parents, talking about the sandwich generation, where someone needs to take care of their kids and their parents, and helping those people, those parents who have kids and their parents are getting old, so they need to do everything while also working a full-time job. Kamala is proposing specific policies on how to address that. So when talking about a new way forward, of course campaigns have slogans. It's stupid to say like, oh, this campaign has a slogan. It's not, it has no value. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's only policy is tariffs, which every single economist, 99.9% agree, across the board tariffs, and I don't mean targeted like the Biden admin did, but across the board tariffs, American companies pay taxes on importing items from other countries. We have trade deals where farmers in America, for example, need to export things like soybeans, and that keeps farmers alive. Tariffs, terrible idea. Trump has zero policies. He has no policies at all. He has not talked about a policy. If you ask him about a policy, he's just going to say drill, baby, drill, which ignores that America's first in oil production, and America is producing more oil than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And I'm spending too much money talking about this policy because if you disagree with me, you probably don't care.
It is time to turn the page because America is ready to chart a new way forward, ready for a new and optimistic generation of leadership.
This is the sitting vice president of the United States currently saying she's the candidate for change. Okay, fine. And by the way, she has to, because I think 90% of Americans, left or right, I mean, like the last 4 years under Biden, not great. Look at the world stage, Afghanistan.
Okay, looking at the world stage, America's economy is doing the best out of any country recovering from COVID. We just had super low inflation. We have really high job numbers. Wage growth is doing very well. The gas costs are coming down.
Afghanistan was a disaster. The Middle
Okay, Afghanistan, we already talked about. Donald Trump is the person who put that condition into place. Biden followed Trump's plan to pull out of Afghanistan. That was Trump's plan to pull out. Trump tried negotiating with the Taliban. It did not work. Trump failed on that, blaming Biden and Harris for that. And by the way, it took some courage to actually get us out of Afghanistan because more Americans would be dying. Americans were dying under Donald Trump's watch in Afghanistan, but Biden and Harris finally pulled out, even though they had to do Trump's plan to do it.
Middle East is basically in flames. You got Russia. Then on
the Middle East is in flames is not an argument. Donald Trump also made that situation worse.
Homeland, inflation's out of control.
We're talking about the Iran deal. Donald Trump just said we need to deal with Iran that's diplomatic to stop their development of nuclear weapons after getting out of the Iran nuclear deal that Obama had just because Trump didn't like Obama. Now Iran is close to having a nuclear weapon, and Trump's acting like, oh, how did this happen? That also happened because of a Donald Trump era policy.
People burning American flags in the street, the defund.
Okay, one person or a handful of people in a country of 340 million who are deciding to burn an American flag as a form of protest does not represent every person in the country. You are virtue signaling. You are being emotional. You're getting mad over nothing, okay? You're getting mad over someone exercising their First Amendment right. It might offend you that they burn an American flag. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't do it. But taking those few people you see on social media burning the American flag, saying we should throw them in jail, Donald Trump wants to throw out constitutional rights for no reason. This is just an emotional point. This is the anti-SJW. He is crying right now as a social justice warrior from the right-wing perspective.
On the police, law and order doesn't even seem to matter anymore. You got
what does that mean? What does that mean?
The border, immigration. There's so many issues.
The border crossings are at a 4-year low in the past few months. And we tried passing a border bill that Donald Trump is proudly now taking responsibility for killing that border bill. Crime is also at a 50-year low in America. These are all points. Everything he just said is not true at all. And you can say your emotions say it is true. Maybe you feel scared, but that doesn't mean facts. Facts matter more than emotions. And the facts that he just laid out are false.
Both sides be like, yeah, we need a change from Biden. Probably why the Democrats whacked Biden and installed Kamala Harris as the candidate. So she's like, we need change, we need this, we need that. But at the same time, when she's on her media tour last week, friendly interviews, Alex Cooper, call her day, hey Alex, Colbert, The View.
Kamala Harris is actually going on Fox News for an interview October 16th, I believe, so she's going on Fox News. Donald Trump has not done any interviews on opposing networks. He's done interviews on Fox News where the host literally praises Trump as being brought to America by God. Those are the interviews Donald Trump's doing. But will Dave Portnoy ever call out Donald Trump for doing interviews where they're literally just there to get on their knees and bow down to him? Will he ever say Donald Trump's doing only easy interviews? No, Donald Trump's running from every interview that could be adversarial. And he's sending JD Vance out there to look like an idiot instead.
And she's being asked the most simplest question.
Oh, not being... Okay. Talk about asking simple questions. Donald Trump cannot answer one question straightforward. He cannot mention a policy to help people. If you tell Donald Trump, like, hey, 99% of economists, everyone agrees tariffs are bad, he just says no. If you're levying these criticisms at Kamala and not Donald Trump, you are a partisan hack. You don't care about anything, all right? You don't care about anything except your social views and your emotions. This is the most emotional baby thing I've seen all day, all week, all year.
She's being asked the most simplest questions, softballs that she probably knew were coming. Hey, Kamala, how are you different from Joe Biden? What will be different since you are the sitting vice president of the United States now and you're out saying you're the candidate for change? She cannot answer it. She can't answer it. She literally is saying, well, I've pretty much been in every big decision. I'm the same as Joe Biden. I agree with him on everything.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Or she just rumbles and stumbles like.
Okay, the Inflation Reduction Act unequivocally was very good. The infrastructure bill, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, was very good. The CHIPS Act, which is allowing American manufacturers to make chips in America, is extremely good. Donald Trump had a trade deficit with China. We were able to reverse that during Biden's presidency. Everything that Biden was able to invest in general, with the American Rescue Plan, Medicare, being able to negotiate drug costs for the first time ever, expanding Medicare and what it can cover in general for all people who have Medicare. There were many successes of the Biden administration. If anything, the Biden admin is being blamed for issues they did not cause, and they provided pretty good solutions. The numbers are good. We are largely in a vibe session right now, because if you look at inflation since 2021, inflation with groceries, for example, is around 20 to 22%. Wages have grown from around 17 to 25%, something in that margin. So wages have kept up largely with groceries. They have not kept up with consumer goods, for example. But the economy and America's rebound is one of the best in the world. We've consistently had lower gas prices and lower prices for everything than any other country. So the Biden presidency, talking about it being a failure, is a PR issue. It's not a facts issue. And if your issue is that we're making a lot of money as a country and it's not being spread around enough, Donald Trump's solution, which it's his only policy of decreasing the corporate tax rate and the tax rate for the top 1%, decreasing that tax even more, while also doing tariffs that'll increase costs for American consumers. That makes zero sense. Donald Trump's policy goes in the opposite direction of where we need to go. Kamala wants to raise taxes on the very wealthy and use that for programs like childcare, like family paid medical leave, like giving tax credits to families, more tax deductions to small businesses. Kamala Harris is running one of the most pro small business campaigns in American history, and Donald Trump does not have one plan to stand up to that.
Like, well, I grew up and I worked at McDonald's, and you know how I'm going to be different? My name...
Be able to say, okay, which Biden policies were bad? Which policies are you talking about when you say you need change? Are you talking about a policy with the border? Did you agree with Biden's executive actions at the border? Did you disagree? Was it the Inflation Reduction Act? What policies do you want passed? What change do you want from Biden? I don't want to hear vibes. I don't want to hear, oh, it feels like things are getting worse, or it feels worse to go in the grocery store. I want to hear real numbers and real solutions and what we're going to do to address your real issues. These bland statements like, oh, people don't like Biden's administration. How are you going to be different? How are you going to change? Stop talking about like, oh, the bad things about Biden's administration. Tell me what those bad things are. Make an actual argument. Then we can talk about policy and talk about solutions. But the issue is people engage with policies in this pop manner where they have no information. They come in like, whoa, what's so bad about this? What's so good about this? We're going to do Kamala. And instead of looking at her policy that she has proposed with small businesses and families, they would rather, like Donald Trump, just be like, you know what? Biden's bad. I'm good. That's what they want. They want Biden bad. I'm good. They want very simple answers. How about we have an actual policy conversation?
What are we talking about? This is the candidate that...
She's doing a late night show. When Donald Trump did late night shows, the answers were very similar. It's like win, win, win. America, make America great. Did you hear Donald Trump during the presidential debate? Why won't Trump debate? Kamala wants to debate really bad. She wants to be on a stage to talk about these policies. Because you asked Trump about a policy, and he said he has concepts of a plan. His only actual plan is cutting taxes for the rich, which is why he can't say that. He blames literally everything on immigration. He lied about the Haitian population in Ohio, the Haitian immigrants, so many times, over and over and over again. He really is just making up things. He wants to bring back a law from like 1798 called the Aliens Enemies Act in America to use the U.S. military to tear apart communities for almost no reason, because immigration, the numbers are low when it comes to immigrant crime rate in general. It's just wild. If you watch even just the presidential debate, when the policies are talked about, if you can name any policy Donald Trump brought up other than I'm going to do good things, let me know.
That people saying such a great leader and change. No, stop gaslighting us. There's two types of votes right now in this country. You're either voting for Donald Trump, I am. And by the way, I don't ever really love like celebrity endorsements, whatever. Do your research, make your own mind. But there's two types of votes. You're voting for Donald Trump, or you're voting against him because you hate his guts and you vote for a potato or a head of lettuce or anything. That's my dad. It doesn't matter who's running. He hates Trump so much, he'd vote for whatever you put up there. But Kamala Harris can't even answer the easiest questions of all time. She never gives a straight answer. She doesn't seem to be able to put coherent thoughts together. It's actually scary for me to think about like what she'd be on the international stage. So that's all I'm saying. That's what's pushed me to the boiling age. I am so sick of being gaslighted like she's some great candidate. There is a reason When she ran for president last time, she didn't get one vote. She dropped out before.
Yeah, because there were 20 candidates running. She got in the race late, and the funders did not choose her at that time. And it was 2020. Many things have happened since 2020.
The millions.
I don't know if you want to watch Donald Trump talk and tell me a different scenario here and a different way of answering questions. You could really let me know.
No. You know what we're doing? And then they announced there was no buys. No. You know what we're doing? And it's not easy. And somebody said, a regular president, I don't want to use the word normal because that's not a nice normal refer. A regular president would have been under a table, thumb in the mouth, saying, take me home, mommy, this is too tough for me. It's true.
Bro, this is the rallies. There's no talk about policy. It's a bunch of like...
Right? You spell us, U.S. I just picked that up. Has anyone ever thought of that?
Has anyone ever thought of it? Imagine if Kamala said the United States, U.S., us. Wow. Has anyone ever thought of that before? Come on, dude. But yeah, there's enough examples of Trump sounding really bad. Taking this in good faith is difficult. But yeah, and Kamala, the argument about her being vice president and not doing anything in 3.5 years, she is vice president. They are there to assist the president and be ready to take over if they need to. They are not leading policy initiatives. But if we're talking about like a tax credit or immigration policy or whatever it might be, you can probably find a vote on that. And on tax credits, J.D. Vance skipped the vote for that. But you can find a vote for all of these things where Republicans in the House and Senate denied it. And they said, no, we don't want these policies. Kamala cannot force everyone to pass policies she wants. I know that Donald Trump wants to be a dictator, but that's not how our government currently works. It might work that way if Donald Trump wins and the Supreme Court gives him ultimate power because that's what he wants. But yeah, there's a vote for everything that they say, oh, Kamala could have done this. And no, Republicans block everything. They blocked FEMA funding. They block everything that people complain about with government. Republicans, somewhere, if you look up the actual votes and numbers, they caused these bad things to happen in government. And then Democrats come in and make the government function somewhat effectively. But yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe. Also, channel memberships are open. They start at $3. You get a special badge in the comments, highlighted comments, and also I will respond to everything, special emotes, special private chats to get more insight into my personal organizing life, maybe possible races I can run for, so you can support that as well with only $3 a month or higher tiers. That'd be awesome. But yeah, it takes a couple hours a day to make these videos. It'd be great to have your support.